Hi guys, so I wanted to put this video together for you today, just to quickly give you some pointers and information on anyone who's struggling or dealing with a dog that has a behavioural problem, and really tell you what the first steps are in helping your dog or that dog to progress and actually change its behaviour, because there are two methods here to this really, and that's behaviour modification and behaviour management. Now, management comes hand in hand with modification anyway, in the sense that you have to manage certain behaviours whilst you're modifying the behaviour. However, you can simply manage the behaviour and nothing else. That means you're never really changing the dog's perception. Although it might change over time. One, it will take that bit longer if that is the case, and two, you really don't come to the nitty-gritty bit of actually helping with the dog's behaviour. All you're doing is trying to find a solution of getting the dog past another dog, for instance, if they're dog aggressive, or past a person, without reacting. But you're not actually helping the dog engage with another dog or engage with a person. For me, and one of my guys, Minnie, is a classic example. I think she's up there at the moment playing. Now, she came to us with 12 months. She was dog aggressive, human aggressive. She's absolutely terrified. That was the bottom line. But she's now a 4-year-old border collie, and she's absolutely fantastic. She's spot on with her behaviours. She came to us with aggression towards children. She was really bad with kids, and adults, but children. I'm saying that because I've got 4 kids, and I mean, you wouldn't even believe the relationship she has with my children now versus how she was with children before that. I mean, she's absolutely fantastic. She dotes on my children, and she wants their affection 24/7 if she could get it. There's a point where I could either manage that behaviour by simply muzzling her, or and maybe even saying, well, I can't have her in my family. But if I didn't have her, or if somebody else with the knowledge didn't have her, the likelihood is she would probably either be euthanized or maybe gone to another home, but they would have been completely unsuccessful perhaps with changing her perception and changing that behaviour. And that for me is key. So there's a lot of factors we have to consider when we want to change a behaviour, from age, health, even the owner's health and ability, because we don't want it all to come back on a trainer. And really, we definitely want to teach the owners how to handle these behaviours and how to help change the behaviours, but it does take time. Anyway, that's the whole point of this one video I'm doing today. I want to, hi girl, hey baby, look at this one, look at this one. This is for Kiki, and she is absolutely stunning. She's a Rhodesian Ridgeback. She's very scared of things, but she's coming along absolutely fantastically with me here. She's doing very well. She doesn't leave me alone, which is fine. But she's kind of finding her feet. She's playing lovely with the other dogs. She's getting to know lots of other people, so she's doing really, really well. But she's a big girl. Luckily, she's not really, although she's scared and fearful, and she might show some barking behaviours, she's not showing any lunging, no want to bite at this stage, and hopefully we'll avoid that altogether. But she's doing really well. Anyway, sorry, went off subject there a little bit. So my point here is I want to help you guys get off on the right foot with your dog that has a behaviour problem. Now, it does not matter what the behaviour is in terms of whether it's human aggression, dog aggression, any kind of reactivity. And let's just be clear, don't be naive about this, guys. Aggression is anything where a dog is threatening, whether that is verbal by just barking, whether it is an actual physical bite, whether it's lunging at another person or dog, they're all signs of aggression. It's an aggressive reaction. So don't be in any kind of denial there that your dog isn't aggressive. However, we should be kind of making it more that they're behaving aggressively rather than they are aggressive. Anyway, so here it is, the first stages of even attempting to change a dog's behavior, even managing the behavior. And it's the biggest downfall that people, or the biggest thing they forget to do. They don't do it, or they don't know about doing it. And that's building a rapport, the relationship you need to actually help your dog in circumstances where they feel scared, frightened, nervous, unsure, perhaps even a bit arrogant, perhaps. You know, you have to have a rapport with the dog, which is second to none, to help them understand that what they're doing is right or wrong. And yes, there has to be a good balance of right and wrong, because you're going to put them in situations where potentially they might react, or you may get caught out, and that happens. You're not going to be able to control every environmental factor. So you might get caught out with being in public, and then a dog comes above you, or comes around you and comes out with the blue, same as a person. And you don't want to be naive about that either, where you're going to go into public and think there's not going to be anything there, or other people are in the wrong and they should have all their dogs on lead because your dog is reactive. That's not the case. If you're going to go into public, you've got to expect there's going to be dogs off lead. There's going to be dogs that are going to come up to your dog and they're going to sniff. People are not going to know your circumstances. They're not going to know your situation. And so it cannot be expected of everyone else to put their dogs on the lead prior to seeing you. However, that's not to say they shouldn't be able to call them back, because that's absolutely the case. If my dog goes up to another dog and I see that dog is distressed, I will want to call my dog away immediately, and I will want that dog to respond. I want my dogs to respond. That's why good recall is, of course, important for every dog, especially if you're going to let it off the lead. So, building that rapport, building that relationship, and ultimately having some kind of marker, a marker to tell the dog that what they've just done is correct, and you can reward them for it. And why do you need a marker? Why do you need to have the ability to tell your dog that what they've done is correct? Why can't we just use toys, or why can't we just use food? Well, we will be, or you should be using food or toys or praise or affection. But if you can imagine, let's do this scenario. You're walking along and your dog is in front of you looking forward, and it spots another dog. Now, your dog is not looking at you for direction at this point. That takes time. You've got to train them to condition them to do that. But the initial stages, they won't be necessarily looking at you. And as you push that dog to get closer, then your dog is going to potentially start to get aroused by this other dog or person or whatever it may be. Now, let's say you're a bit further on down the line and you get to a point where you're able to get close enough to another dog, for example, and your dog has gone as close as it's ever been to another dog, but it's facing away from you. How do you tell it what it's just done is the best thing ever? You mark it, because that marker means to the dog, it means they're going to get something in return for doing whatever they've just done. And they will keep trying to get to that point. They'll keep trying to get within a certain distance of the other dog in order to get the reward that you hold. But you must build up you must build up that rapport, and that you must condition them to understand that the marker means they're going to get something. And so that comes into another video where I'll talk about that in another video, where we talk about using food as a reward, or using toys as a reward. A marker in itself is not a reward. The reward always comes after the marker. The marker just identifies to an animal that what they've just done is correct, and they're going to get something in return for it. And that's important. Markers are for long distance training, or out of sight training, if you like. Just because we click, or we say yes, or we say good boy or good girl, that doesn't mean we're rewarding them. By saying that, what we're saying is what you've just done is correct. If you want the reward, now you come back. But of course, the marker works because they can't see you. They're not looking at you, so you're not trying to rush to get that food in, or rush to get the toy, or you're trying to get their attention away. Once you've conditioned them to the marker, they then will respond to the marker. But it takes weeks of preparation, and it's the one thing you should probably do before consulting a professional even, is build the rapport. It's something you don't need somebody to tell you and pay for that information. I'm giving it to you for free. Build the rapport, build the relationship you need for you and your dog, and make sure they're listening to what you're telling them and responding to that marker. Get the marker, yes, get the marker of clicker. I personally prefer the word. A verbal marker for me holds a much greater value for me, not for the dog necessarily, but for me, because I can get involved with the dog's training much better. So for me, a verbal marker is better than the clicker. Clicker is okay if you're teaching a skill. We're not teaching a skill when we're trying to change behavior. What we're doing is teaching them to accept what it is they don't like, or we're trying to change their perception of something. Hi Meg, hey baby. So build that rapport, get that relationship to a point where your dog loves it when you say yes, or when you click, or whatever you want to do, and let them know that when they're doing that, that you're going to give them that reward, that praise. And it doesn't have to be food, it can be anything. Anything can be the reward as long as they like it. And it's not your perception, it's their perception. So you have to find that thing that they love. If you're going to use food, you can build up that appetite for that. And again, I'll cover that in another video. But ultimately build up that bond, that relationship. And that comes simply from training, general obedience, things that have no direct relation to the problem in hand, but it does hold significant value when it comes to teaching a marker, or when it comes to actually bonding with your dog. The more you teach them, the more you interact with them, the more they'll respond to you. So, although this is a relatively long tip video, it's very straightforward. Before you do anything, if you think you've got a problem with your dog, before even seeking professional advice, because it doesn't matter, unless of course it's a medical condition, but we're not talking about medical, we're talking about behavior. Build that rapport, build that relationship, change your lifestyle with your dog to ensure that it is responding to you as its owner, and it understands what you're asking of it when you train it. And train as much as you can. Everything, repeat it. How many of you, when you watch this video, how many of you can do more than 8 commands with your dog, 8 cues with your dog, and be brutally honest? And what I mean is, can they actually do it? Not you put them there or you push them into position. Can they actually do it? Sit, down, turn left, turn right, heel, close. Roll over, anything. It can be fun things as well. It doesn't have to be something that is considered practical in life. Building a relationship with my children doesn't mean I have to teach them equations every day. It means I can have fun with them. But at the same time, I'm educating them as well and teaching them how to have fun, how to share toys. So all of that kind of thing you can do with your dog, and that's really important. Okay, guys, I'm going to leave you with that. I hope you enjoyed the video. I will be posting some more things up on my YouTube channel in the near future. So post some comments below. I know I blabble on quite a lot, but there's so much to talk about, and I love talking about things. So that's that. So get over to my YouTube channel, James Davis the Dog Man. Give me a thumbs up, like this video, share it, and comment below any questions, or just your thoughts on what I've just said, or your thoughts on training and your experience. You know, this is my experience on things and my knowledge. You may have an experience that you want to share. Pop it in a comment below. Let other people see it as well, and I'll try and answer what I can. Okay, guys, take care. Ciao.